Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com. Texas and New Hampshire ban chemtrails? Question mark. Well, it's definitely making the rounds, and shout out to Chris from the Del Bigtree show for pointing this out to me. We're going to get into this because I think that, clickbait titles are like the end of the internet. My God. But there's some truth to possibly one of these two stories. You'll figure out which one is correct by the end. So without further ado, if you're watching anywhere else, if somebody's downloaded this video, head over to ClimateViewer on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Gently smush that like button. If you'd like to support my work past 15 years, PayPal, Patreon, greatly appreciated, desperately needed. I would really appreciate it. So that being said, over here on The People's Voice, this is probably the first article. This was dated January of 2023. Texas becomes first state to potentially outlaw chemtrails. And, basically, Chris from the Del Bigtree show basically sent me a TikTok video. And I'm like going, I think I would have heard about this. So, of course, I had to look into it, and I see that Sean Adel Tabatabi, something like that. You can see his freaking name here. You pronounce it. Anybody else can figure it out, you go right ahead. But I started looking into it, and it turns out that this is all, related to a petition that was actually filed by InfoWars. And, it seems like it went nowhere. So there's that. The petition, Stop Poisoning Our Families, garnered 4,541 signatures, which was only 46% of what they needed, apparently, for iPetitions.com. I don't even know how that's related to Texas government at all, or that Texas government even cares. But there's that. So yeah, it's from a group allegedly called Clean Texas Skies, which if you scroll down here at the bottom, past all the geoengineering watch links, which is clearly why this probably failed miserably. You'll see that, basically says they've got a proton mail, and cleantexasskies.org redirects to this petition. So Texas has not banned geoengineering, chemtrails, weather modification, none of that. Each state does need a petition, Jenna, as you're saying in chat. I agree, but, the legislation has to be proper for you to actually have, a snowflake's chance in hell of passing. So there's that. Which then brings us to January again, 3rd, 2024. This was January 19th, 2023. Same guy, all right? Coincidentally, Sean Adel Teletubby, as my daughter says in chat, Sea Bear Play, that's my daughter. Sean Teletubby, Adel Teletubby, says New Hampshire becomes second U.S. state to ban chemtrails. Again, warning, fake news. Can you at least be responsible about this stuff? Like, there is some news here, and there's definitely something worth talking about. But to say New Hampshire becomes second U.S. state to ban chemtrails is complete and utter bullshit. First of all, Texas never banned a damn thing. Second of all, New Hampshire just introduced a, piece of legislation that may, in fact, ban weather modification, geoengineering, and even extreme radio frequency, which is like epic. But to say that it's been banned already is absolutely ridiculous. Shut up, Ricky Bobby. That's my dog. Yes, I have a dog. His name is Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby, shake and bacon, shut the hell up. So this is a little more to the point, and was, actually, pictured in the TikTok video. So, Teletubby has been writing fake conspiracy articles for years. Okay. Thank you, DreamReal 756, for clarifying. I'm not familiar with Mr. Teletubby's work, but now that we got that straight, I'm glad we're all on the same page here. However, John Fleetwood, johnfleetwood.substack.com, shout out for having an actual realistic title. New bill bans chemtrails over New Hampshire. And then he clarifies, which I think is epic. Weather modification, stratospheric aerosol injection, solar radiation modification, geoengineering. Oh, and by the way, an act prohibiting the intentional release of polluting emissions, including cloud seeding, weather modification, excessive electromagnetic radio frequency, and microwave radiation. By the way, kind of redundant. Microwave radiation is electromagnetic radio frequency. Splitting hairs, regardless. At least he gets all of this right. Last month, Republican legislators in New Hampshire introduced a bill that would ban the intentional release of chemicals into the air. The legislation, called the Clean Atmosphere Preservation Act, sounds pretty good. CLAPA. The CLAPA prohibits the intentional release of polluting emissions, including cloud seeding, weather modification, excessive electromagnetic radio frequency, and microwave radiation, and making penalties for violations of such prohibition. What kind of penalties? How about $500,000 and up to 2 days in jail? Or was it 2 months? I think it was 2 months. $500,000 and up to 2 years in jail, or both. Now we're talking. Lock them up. So does this bill stand a snowflake's chance in hell? That's really the question we have right now. Another article on this. All these links are already in the deets. So if you click on the links and the details of this video, everything I'm showing you right now is there. Always has been there. I'm that guy. I'm not going to just like blow smoke up your ass and then keep it. Oh, now you got to Google all the things, because we know how well Google works nowadays. In fact, when I Googled this article, I literally typed in, with quotes, this article. I had to get it from a tweet to find a link to the original, because it's not on Google. Fuck you, Alphabet Soup, Google, YouTube, you censorship loving motherfuckers. This is Jim Lee 2024. I'm gonna be me. Damn the repercussions. Anyway, so yeah, not a search engine, just it's a censorship engine. Anyway, another article on this dated January 2nd, 2024. New Hampshire bill seeks to ban cloud seeding or other forms of atmospheric geoengineering. Getting into the deets. Now, both of the legislation, they're at the very bottom of the details of this video. You can see them. The bill is called New Hampshire Bill, House Bill 1700, 2024. And you can see that here. It says partisan bill, Republicans. I thought Democrats were the ones who love the climate. We're so concerned about, protecting us from, climate change and pollution and all that's. No. This was a Republican written bill. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But you can see right here, in the year of our Lord 2024. I just like that. It's right there. Anyway, short title, The Clappa, and then it goes on to talk about all the things in there. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. I used to do that sort of thing. If you're too lazy to read the fucking bill, then obviously you don't care about this sort of stuff. Links in the details. But the important part, has this been passed? Is there any truth to Sean Adel Teletubbies, fact-checked People's Voice article? Negative. No. Because as you can see right here, status introduced on December 19th, 2023. 25% progression. Underneath it, action on January 11th, 2024. They have decided to have a public hearing Tuesday. So this Tuesday, if you're in New Hampshire or can make it to New Hampshire and you're familiar with my work and you're willing to go cite some things or just push your way to the front of the line, there will be a January 16th at 1:30 in the Legislative Office Building, 302-304 House Calendar 2. There will be a public hearing. I highly doubt this will make it to the internet, but if it does, somebody please send me the information on that, because I will immediately publish this public hearing on the banning of the chemtrails over the New Hampshire. But banned in New Hampshire and Texas, false. Possibly banned in New Hampshire, maybe. Based on the powers that be, highly unlikely. But it is at least a step in the right direction. I've read the entire bill text. They do leave the C word out because saying chemtrails in a public setting at a government building is akin to just like, I don't know, like taking your clothes off at Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody's just going to laugh at your bits and pieces. So at least superficially, the law looks like it is well written and has teeth. The fact that there is, $500,000 and up to 2 years in jail, and specifically without ever saying chemtrails, does mention unmarked planes. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Unmarked, right there. And you can see it right here. I mean, you couldn't be more clear about this. Terribly designed website. Penalties enforcement. Any entity or individual who engages in a hazardous atmospheric activity, or any entity or individual who uses an unmarked or unidentified aircraft or other vehicle or facility to carry out stratospheric aerosol injection, geoengineering, weather modification, cloud seeding, or other polluting activities. Atmospheric activities. It literally mentions them freaking chemtrails. Unmarked, unidentified aircraft will be sanctioned. You will go to jail. We will lock you up. Jenna, I'll be back in about 15 minutes. I won't be here, so later, Jenna. Oh, Lord. So yeah, many of you probably know that I too have a Environmental Modification Accountability Act. This is something that originally was slated to, bolster the weather warfare ban of 1978, the Environmental Modification Convention. And recently I've been telling you guys, I want to make a national, meaning a federal version of the law, as well as a state by state one. Something that you guys can go out and take to your local representatives. Screw petition websites. That's not how these things work. You need to go buy yourself a politician and hand him it already written out and get him to walk in the door and say, I'd like to introduce this bill. And that's how things happen. at least this bill in New Hampshire has made it to the table. There is going to be a public hearing. Whether or not it actually makes it through and gets signed in both the House and the Senate, and then the governor signs it, I think that's highly unlikely. I will freaking cheer if it does, because that's the kind of precedent we need to push forward in other venues. It's very similar to, going to get slightly political here, but Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire has been pushing for legislation for transgender, mutilation of minors. And after one success in one state, that has been mirrored to multiple states now. So these are the kinds of things that we need to have happen. We need to get a win in the geoengineering, weather warfare, weather modification, chemtrails, plane farts, HAARP, all that stuff. Get a win somewhere. And that win will start a domino effect, because suddenly, the legislators in other states won't think it's such a crazy idea when another state has already made it completely legal. So I do hope that the CLAPA up in New Hampshire succeeds, because at the very least, it's a good start. And hopefully, when I have time and effort, I will get a, something that you can just fill out for your own state and be able to send in. But that's something on my very large to-do list, which kind of brings us to the end of the video here. So many of you may know this, many of you probably don't, but I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've really come to a, let's say, fork in the road. For a very long time, I thought that I would get to a point where I would be able to do ClimateViewer full time. If I had made it to that point right now, you would not be hearing from me in my double wide trailer. You would be hearing from me from a cell phone broadcast on my way flying to New Hampshire to be at that public hearing. And I'll guarantee you that the chance of success would go up exponentially if I were able to testify at this hearing. But sometimes shit don't work out that way. And the realization that this is hard to say. I've lost many good friends in this fight, over the years, and they have worked themselves to the bone, to the detriment of their own families, to the detriment of their health. And I have literally been doing this for 15 years now, and since 2000, I want to say since 2013, so for 11 years now, I've been on food stamps and Medicaid and barely scraping by. You're never going to see this out of a Southerner. I'm, too proud to beg, so I won't. What I've decided is that, basically there aren't a lot of high-paying jobs for people who are self-taught, who have a pale complexion and a penis in today's modern world. So without, a 4-6 year degree plus some kind of a privilege card, if I told them that I was Native American, maybe I'd have a better chance of getting into one of these state government jobs that I've been applying to numerously. Just hasn't happened. So between just the complete lack of ability to generate, revenue from my passion, from my hobby, coupled with being an armed security guard. If you guys think I'm joking, this is my backpack, and this is my security guard go bag that I take to work every single day. And I work Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, government hours for $16 an hour. Oh yeah, I lost $1 an hour because I switched from driving an hour away from my home to a site that's only 20 minutes away. And my boss, the dick that he is, didn't even tell me that it was $1 less an hour till the day before I actually started at the new position. So I'm at a point now where it's like, do I continue to keep this cycle going?
Love you, Jim.
I love you too, Bettina. Geoengineering Free Canada, guys, you should support them. I just did a little conference call with Geoengineering Free Canada with Bettina and Dan Fournier. Hopefully, Bettina, you'll remember that I said send me that video and I will upload it to my channel, because I think people would really appreciate that, and it would definitely give, you know, your fellow Canadians a larger viewership. And I ended up doing a conference call with Renette right after that. Renette sent them. But at this point, it's like, between the censorship, between delete, you know, like literally shadow banning every single thing I've ever done since I went to the EPA hearing in 2015. It's just been it's just been nothing but downhill since 2015. So I'm literally at a point where my wife's going to school. She's going to be a nurse. So 3 years from now, money probably won't be a problem. And I'm, just barely scraping by. So my options are pretty short, and the local sheriff's department's offered me a job. But that means, working nights 1 month, working days the next month. It does mean that I'll have more days off, but there's police academy and all that sort of stuff. I'm an impressive shot. I'm very cool under pressure. I've been a martial artist since I was a child. I'm desperately trying to get in the best shape of my life right now. And yeah, I'm hoping that they don't require vaccination. Nice try, SL, but no. Maybe for my wife, but even then, she's going to be the nurse, not me. We had that discussion. We were both going to go in and do the nursing program together, and then we'd literally have all the money in the world. Then I don't care about money, but let's be real. I got a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old daughter, and I'm tired of, just barely scraping by. Does the NMOD AA have penalties? Yes. Now, enforcing them is a whole nother thing. But Mad Jeeper, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for the super chat. I don't think you guys realize, how little, this, like right now, it says for the last 28 days, YouTube, your revenue is $68. So YouTube doesn't even pay you unless you make $100 in a month. And Mad Jeeper just, super chatted $100. YouTube takes $30 of that. And I literally, set my bar so low that I said, if I could just make $2,000 a month, that I could quit my job and do this full time. Because between doing this full time, and the occasional website job and just working on the property here, I should be able to make up the rest, at least until my wife's out of school. But the truth of the matter is like the car I'm driving to work every day, like literally has a gas leak. The transmission's going out on it. It's falling apart. I could go on and bitch and cry and moan forever, but I'm not going to. I just want you guys to know that it's been hell. I mean, it's been straight hell. And I'm finding it very hard to get motivated to even dig into any of this stuff lately. I almost didn't
never give it, brother.
I don't think I ever will give up. But I have to, I have to be realistic about my expectations, and relying on donations to, feed my family and, all the things. I mean, my 14-year-old is going to be needing a car in the next 2 years. Let's be real, Then there's college and weddings and all that stuff. And it's like, this is a niche. Let's be real. It's a very niche subgenre of the internet. Not very many people even give a shit, let alone if they did know, would care. And then there's the whole fact that, I'm not a fear porn pusher. So I don't make, fucking titles like New Hampshire becomes second, place to, ban chemtrails, because it's not true. And I think that, intellectual dishonesty, for the sake of getting clicks and getting dollars, that's a one-way ticket to hell, in my opinion. But, hey, you do you. If that's your thing, then, all the more to you, Mr. Teletubby. Great fucking article. So yeah, I'm in the big depression wagon right now. I hate to do this, but I need to be real with you guys. So, I start a subscription where people sign to donate so much a month. I got that. I mean, it's on my freaking Patreon. I mean, you guys can see it right here. If you go to the very top link on my page, on my video details, it says connect.climateviewer.com, which has, all three of my websites. Weather modification history now just takes you to the interactive timeline, which is on ClimateViewer. But regardless, there's my maps and my blog, and then support generally. And there's Patreon, Give, Send, Go, and Buy Me a Coffee, all three of which you can sign up monthly for. And occasionally people do. But, not very many people do. And it's on me. I haven't made new merch. I've been so damn busy, stressed out every freaking day about all the things that I can't even bring myself to, work on the things that I'm supposed to be doing. So if you guys have wondered why, I've been so all over the place lately, that's why. It's tough. But this too shall pass. I'm a firm believer in, hope for the best, expect the worst. So, and I was also a Boy Scout, and you got to be prepared. So the best way for me to do that is to, go ahead and take the plunge and, sign up for the sheriff's department. It pays double what I'm making right now with full benefits, no food stamps, no Medicaid. Won't have to deal with that shit anymore. And I think after I get my financial house in order, then, I'll be able to commit to a much better quality product. My wife and I have talked ad nauseum about a ClimateViewer show and what it would look like and what would go into it. And it would take, a lot of work, but we're going to get there. I don't know when. I will try to keep you guys updated, whenever something is worth talking about, like, a potential win in New Hampshire. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not I think another big part of my depression right now has to do just with the general state of our country, and the the levels of censorship, the levels of just propaganda. It's an election year. It's inevitably going to be ugly. Um, I'm I'm hopefully optimistic, and at the same time, it is my prediction that this is going to go down as one of the craziest fucking years ever. So, um, I can't really repeat a lot of the insider information that I'm getting, because I think that would be irresponsible. But, possible internet outages, things that I'm hearing, just at some point you go, do you really want to, do you really want to, know all this stuff and be stressed out all the time about it? But at the same time, I know that I will never be able to, stop this. This is something that I am passionate about. So, Daniel, I appreciate that. Jim, you would make a great sheriff. I know I would, because the crazier shit gets, the calmer I get. I mean, it's one of those benefits of, living a very, dangerous life as a child and being in many conflicts. Let's put it that way. You could run for coroner. I'm not the dead body guy. Okay. That's not going to be this guy. But I really, my goal, I hope and pray, is that, I get into the sheriff's department and I can make my way into cyber crimes. Because as a previous victim of online gang stalking and as a hacker of over 30 years, if I could get into the sheriff's department and start working with South Carolina law enforcement divisions, online crimes or cyber crimes here just in Sumter, where you've got all these people, online bullying, doing that sort of stuff. The coroner is the most powerful in the country. Hey man, if the job pays well, let's just put it that way. I just want my kids and my wife to not ever have to worry. And then I won't worry. So that's really where we're at. But right now it's like, I got an interview coming up with Del Bigtree and the High Wire. And, they were like, hey, can you do this at 4 p.m.? And I'm like, I can't, because pistol plus I'm the only officer at this government building and my boss is a dick. There's no way for me to get time off. And they're not paying me shit to begin with. So it's like, what do you do? So I'm going to do something different. I need a big change and I need it quick. And we'll get back to talking about all this stuff, and I will have some of the fruits of my labor to show you. We do plan on building a studio outside of this house eventually. And when that happens, you're going to see the new show, and it's going to be fucking epic. So this is not the end. This is me unloading my conscience so that I can, just be frank with you guys. Speaking of Frank, I need to call him, quite frankly. Just ordered a new PC. I built him one on, the internets, and it should be coming to him soon. And as I was preparing for this video, I had 3 or 4 tweets saying, call quite frankly immediately. So I'll go figure out what that's about. But let's just put it this way. I hope the New Hampshire bill does make it. If you are in the area, or if you know anybody in the area, send them the details. It's going to happen on Tuesday. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King holiday. Government's going to be closed down. Tuesday, they're going to open up. There's supposed to be a public hearing in New Hampshire. If anybody's able to get there and record it, that would be amazing. So spread the word about it. Please share this video. please support my content. Everything on my website is public domain. It used to be Creative Commons till a friendly jackass up in Canada pointed out to me that Creative Commons is run by the such and such society, which is owned by George Soros. So I immediately was like, well, there goes that. I'm going to take Creative Commons off all my stuff, because I'll be damned if I want anything to do with George Soros open society. But let's just put it this way. All the work that I've done for the last 15 years that's on climateviewer.com or climateviewer.org is public domain. It's been stated. You can literally clip this out and nobody can do anything to you, because it came right out of my mouth. I'm the one that put it together. I do this because I want people to know and be able to do something about it. And I hope to be part of that solution. So the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if I can get myself into a position where my main source of income allows me more days off, which the sheriff's department would do, because 1 week you literally work 3 days and the other 4 you're off. All of that sort of stuff. Anyway, I love you guys, and I mean it. And I hope that you guys will, spread the word and keep me in your prayers. Until the next one, attack ideas, not people. If the video resonates with you, leave me a comment, because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.